Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Beltway Boxing News and Notes on the Boxing on the Beltway Google app for Android. We thank you for joining us, and we have some great news for you this week as we're a little behind on the schedule. Got some things we got to catch up on. A busy week this week, but I tell you, it's going to be well worth it because we have a lot of things going on this week. Got some great amateur news, big signing in the area. We have a huge June schedule to talk about, and I'll have some final thoughts on what took place a couple of Saturdays ago now at MGM National Harbor Casino in Oxon Hill, Maryland, with the big bout between Gary Russell Jr. and Jojo Diaz. So we'll have all that right here on the Box on the Beltway Google app for Android. Subscribe to the podcast if you're on iOS on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio.com. And don't forget to download for free on Google app, on the Google Play app, the Box on the Beltway Google app for Android. It's free. You can hear all sorts of bouts and interviews and reports from about 4 or 5 years ago. You can go all the way back, and it's all archived right on the blog, right on the app, I should say. So please download the app. Subscribe to us on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio.com. I'm on Twitter at Digital25, and you can always reach me by email, beltwayboxing@hotmail.com. So thank you all so much for your support. And of course, Beltway Boxing News and Notes is brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. From boxers to ballerinas, for shoulder pain and muscle strain, everything in between, Boxing on the Beltway recommends Real-Time Pain Relief, the natural, plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by DeborahSpears.com. She's got that great boxing pendant. My daughter is wearing it as we speak right now, and it looks great on her. And it'll look great on you as well if you go to DeborahSpears.com. And of course, your first item that you buy on DeborahSpears.com is 20% off if you're a first-time customer to DeborahSpears.com. That's Deborah, Debra Spears.com. Well, let's start in the amateurs this week because we have a big event that took place this past week in Colorado Springs, Colorado at the Hotel Elegante. And involved in that event was Baltimore, Maryland middleweight Lorenzo Simpson. He earned a silver medal at the 2018 Youth Continental Championships that were held in Colorado Springs. Now, Simpson had fought very well all throughout the tournament, won 2 undefeated under unanimous decisions in that event. But his bout against Kino Machado, Brazil, he lost that bout by unanimous decision. It was a tough bout for him because the guy was very, very tall, and Simpson just had a real tough time getting to Machado that evening, I should say. It took place this past Saturday, the championships. So it was a tough break for him. It was a very tough break for him otherwise, but it's a definite learning experience. He'll learn how to face taller guys as he goes forward. So, silver medal for Lorenzo Simpson out of Baltimore, Maryland in the Youth Continental Championships in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now, we haven't had a chance to talk about the Golden Gloves. And of course, this year, we did not have any Golden Glove champions this year. Nick Sullivan got to the finals, but he lost his bout by a 3-2 decision in the championships of the Golden Gloves. Amelia Moore, who fought with the men for the first time as a Golden Gloves participant. Of course, she won a women's Golden Gloves last year in Florida, but she had to pull out of the tournament because she got sick. She had a fever, high fever, even through the first round of her competition, which she did score a knockout in that. But it was tough the rest of the way for her, and she pulled herself out of it because she has the Elite Continental Championships coming up as well as the World Championships. Now, Lorenzo Simpson, with his silver medal, did qualify for the Junior World Championships coming up, so he'll be there. And Amelia will be in the Elite World Championship competition coming up a little later on this year. So, again, no championships this year, but it was a tough road this year for this particular DC region team. You had a lot of guys who really weren't at that level yet. And although I don't think anybody got knocked out in the first round, and as the tournament wore on in Omaha, a lot of our guys just really had a tough time against some really solid competition. So Tough break there. We have a big signing to talk about this week, and if you've been following me on both FightNews.com as well as the Box on the Beltway and in the Washington Informer. I put this article in the Washington Informer as well. One of our Beltway queens, Tiara Brown, the Dark Menace out of Oxon Hill, Maryland. She has signed a promotional contract with DiBella Entertainment. Now, I was at the event where she announced this. It was at the Kenilworth Recreation Center last week. And I really thought, to be honest with you, I thought she'd sign the same way a lot of female boxers have signed recently. And that's with Dimitri Salita Promotions. And they have under contract Clarissa Shields, Christina Hammer, and our very own Franchon Cruz DeZern. So I really thought Tiara was going to sign with them. They kept it a secret. You know, when I talked to the folks, I actually talked to them Saturday about the event that took place that following Monday. And I just really thought that she was going to sign with Salita. But it turns out she signed with DiBella. And I was very pleasantly surprised about that. Brown, of course, a native of Fort Myers, Florida. She had a stellar amateur career. She won gold medals at the World Championships. She took 2 trips to the Olympic trials. She's had a very good year so far. She not only gets this honor and signs with DiBella Entertainment, but she also, recently back on April 16th, she had a day in her honor in her hometown of Fort Myers, Florida. They named it Tiara Brown Day, and they honored her for her work as a boxer as well as community work. And of course, here in D.C., she is a police officer in the Washington D.C. Police Department, the 6th District, to be exact, which is actually where Kenilworth Recreation Center happens to be, by the way. So she's currently 4-0, 2 knockouts as a pro, and she will make her final appearance as a free agent coming up in June, on June 30th. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But DiBella actually has a number of female boxers under contract. He has Heather Hardy, Alicia Napoleon, Shelly Vincent, and Amanda Serrano. So really some quality female boxers there. And of course, she has also 2 boxers out of the Beltway under contract, and that's Alantez Fox and Devon Nicholson. So I think it's a great move for Tiara. DiBella is a top flight promoter and manager, and I think he'll do very well. They'll do very well together in Brown's career going forward. So we'll see what happens there. So once again, congratulations to Tiara Brown, who is signed with DiBella Entertainment. We'll talk more about Tiara and that car she's scheduled to be on a little bit later on. Now, a lot of events coming up in the month of June. June's going to be a big month for us. Now, we're going to do this a little different. We're not going to do it in total chronological order because there are actually levels to where we're going here for June. But there are a number of boxers that are competing in the early part of June, and in the latter stages of June, it's going to be huge. No question about that. So let's take a look at it. We start on Saturday, June the 2nd. And that's at the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And that's where undefeated Bowie, Maryland super lightweight Greg the Sharpshooter Outlaw. He'll take on Dan Murphy of Lenoka Harbor, New Jersey. That bout's scheduled for 6 rounds. Outlaw is 4-0, 1 KO. He competed for the first time since he won a 6-round unanimous decision over Sidney Macau on September 9th in Queens, New York. Meanwhile, Murphy's 3-1. He had a no decision in his last outing back on March 10th at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City. His opponent suffered a shoulder injury in the first round. That bout, that card, I should say, that Outlaw is on, will be promoted by Evander Holyfield. His Real Deal Sports Entertainment Corporation will be involved with that. So Greg Outlaw will take on Dan Murphy on Saturday, June 2nd, Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Then on Friday, June 8th, at the Paramount Theater in Huntington, New York, Haymarket, Virginia super lightweight Juan de la Cruz Rodriguez, no longer the savior. He is Juan de la Cruz Rodriguez. He'll be in a 6-round bout against John Hernandez of Huntington, New York. He's a hometown boxer. Rodriguez is 8-1 with 6 KOs. He'll make his second straight trip to the Paramount after suffering a 5th-round TKO against Daniel Gonzalez on March 16th. Hernandez, meanwhile, is 8-3, 1 KO. He'll be trying to break a 2-bout losing streak. So this could be a good opportunity for Juan Rodriguez if he can get this win. Now, let me say this real quickly, because I don't know how much stock we put in this. BoxRec.com, which is a great website, they've started to put where different boxers are suspended in the world. And according to BoxRec, now this is just BoxRec talking, and I'm not sure, for all we know, the suspension could be lifted. We don't know. But they're mentioning that Rodriguez is actually suspended indefinitely by the New York State Athletic Commission. So if that's true, then I'd be a little surprised that this bout would take place. Having said that, though, it's not like Rodriguez is facing a huge bit of competition, because he's facing a guy who has lost 2 straight. He's 8-3 and only has 1 KO. So if they were going to lift the suspension, this would be the time to do it. But again, that's what it's saying. And I don't know. And I'll tell you why I have a problem with it in just a moment when I talk about the next bout that we're going to talk about. But again, I don't know whether or not the suspension means this bout won't take place. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's right now, Friday, June 8th. Juan de la Cruz Rodriguez taking on John Hernandez. And that'll be at the Paramount Theater in Huntington, New York. Now, on Saturday, June 9th, at the King's Theater in Brooklyn, New York, Capitol Heights, Maryland bantamweight Thomas KO, or Thomas the Franchise Snow, he'll take on, excuse me, Duke Micah of Accra, Ghana. Now, Duke Micah has a tremendous nickname, the baby-faced Terminator. And that's what his name. Now, this bout is a big one because it's a 10-round contest for Micah's WBC International Bantamweight title. Snow is 19-3 with 12 KOs. He last fought on October 14th, won a 6-round unanimous decision over Stephon McIntyre. That was at the ABC Sports Complex in Springfield, Virginia. We heard that bout here on the Box On Beltway Google app for Android. Micah is 21-0, 18 KOs. He'll make the second defense of his title that he won back in March of 2017. His first defense saw him win a 10-round majority decision over Jose Santos Gonzalez on November 18th in Queens, New York. Now, here's where I have a problem with the suspension notices that BoxRec has put on. According to the suspension notice on Thomas Snow, Snow is suspended in the state of Florida indefinitely. Here's a problem. Snow's never fought in Florida before. I don't understand that. So I don't know whether, cause I think at one time he might have been with Warriors Boxing, which was out of Florida, but for some reason he's suspended in Florida, and he's never fought there. So I don't know what that's all about. So that's why I'm taking that suspension notices with a grain of salt. So we'll see. But either way, it's a big bout for Snow. He can win this against Micah. Micah is fighting in the United States for only the second time. His first defense was the first time he had fought in the United States. He'd fought mostly in his native Accra, Ghana. So we'll see what happens. That's Saturday, June 9th at the King's Theater in Brooklyn, New York. Thomas Snow battling Duke Micah for Micah's WBC International Bantamweight title. Also on June 9th, and I believe this bout, it doesn't say exactly where it is, but I'm guessing it'll be at the Fitz Casino and Hotel, where a lot of great boxing events have taken place over the years. Baltimore, Maryland cruiserweight Slick Nick Kisner, he returns in a 6-rounder against Jay Williams of West Monroe, Louisiana. Kisner is 20 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 6 KOs, coming off that 10-round unanimous decision in the rematch over Brian Holstein on March 3rd in Columbus, Ohio. That's about that got him the WBA, NABA, USA Cruiserweight title for the second time. Now, Williams has not fought since December of 2016. He was a super middleweight when he fought then, and he won a 6-round split decision over Manjaro Hills of Brooklyn. And that was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Williams is 4 wins, 8 losses. Now, again, I don't know why Kisner is resetting himself at this time, except possibility that he's testing I believe his hand was hurt after the Holstein fight. He was scheduled to take that after that bout. He could not take it because he got injured. So maybe he's trying to test that injury, see if he's okay with this bout against Jay Williams. So that's the only thing I can think of about this. But it is a 6-rounder. Slick Nick Kisner taking on Jay Williams. That'll be at the Fitz Casino Hotel in Tunica, Mississippi. Then on Saturday, June 16th, at the Coliseum in St. Petersburg, Florida. Washington, D.C. lightweight Jordan the Kid Peters, he'll be in a 6th-round bout against Ricky Tomlinson of Thonotasasa, Florida. There's that name again. The second time we talk about Tomlinson. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Peters is 2-1, 2 KOs. He'll be looking to break that 2-bout losing streak. That included a 2nd-round TKO loss to Josephat Ortiz. That was on May 11th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Tomlinson is 6-3-2, 2 KOs. He'll face a Beltway boxer for the 2nd time. That's why we had to talk about that hometown of his before, because Tomlinson won a 4-round unanimous decision over Ernest Hall back on March 3rd in Clearwater, Florida. So that'll be Saturday, June 16th. Jordan Peters taking on Ricky Tomlinson. That'll be at the Coliseum in St. Petersburg, Florida. Then on Saturday, June the 30th, and this will be at the center stage at NODA, and I have no idea what NODA stands for. Somebody may need to help me on that one. But center stage at NODA, and that'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina. The return of Baltimore, Maryland middleweight Maxwell the General Taylor. He's the older brother, of course, of Emmanuel Transformer Taylor. And this will be the first time Taylor will be in the ring after almost 4 years to participate in a 4-round bout and opponent to be determined. Taylor is 18-10-1, 8 KOs. He has not fought since losing it by first-round TKO to Joe Smith Jr. in December of 2014 in Huntington, New York. That was a wild bout. I do remember that one. Now, that card is being promoted by the coal miner's daughter herself, Christy Martin. She's in promoting, and actually from right here, doing pretty well in North Carolina for those. A number of boxers have been on that card before, so on her cards before. So that'll be at Charlotte, North Carolina. Maxwell the General Taylor taking on an opponent to be determined on Saturday, June 30th. So those are, for lack of a better term, preliminary bouts. I don't hate to call them that, but because they are important, especially the one with Snow coming up against Micah for the international bantamweight title, WBC. But the main attraction bouts are the ones we're going to talk about now in the month of June. And fortunately for us, 3 of the 4 cards that we're going to talk about happen in the Beltway. That's the big key. They happen in the Beltway. So you get a chance to see them coming up. And then we start with the first one. This will be at Saturday, June 16th. And this will be in a brand new location for us in the Beltway, the Gardens Ice House. And that's located at 13800 Old Gunpowder Road in Laurel, Maryland. And the main event on that card, which is a combination of Jetta Promotions and GQ Promotions. So returning for both of them now. Now, you all know my problems I've had with GQ Promotions over the last year or so. Well, we've had a talk. We've talked about things that are going on. Everything is cool. So I will be in attendance that night. Juan and I will both be in attendance that night, and we'll both be covering that card. Hopefully, if all goes well, if the Wi-Fi or the data is good, we'll be doing a live broadcast for this card, and that's going to be a good thing, because the GQ and GQ Promotions, that's undefeated Montgomery Village, Maryland welterweight Jerome Quigley. He'll be in the biggest bout of his career, without question. He'll take on Raymond Tito Serrano of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This bout is scheduled for 10 rounds, and it is for both the vacant USBA welterweight championship and the vacant WBC USNBC welterweight title. So this is a big bout, no question about that. This is a huge one. Now, Quigley is 18-0, 16 KOs. He last fought on August 26th, where he scored a 2nd-round TKO over Oscar Padilla. That was in Newlandsburg, Germany, and the win gave Quigley the German version of the WBU welterweight title. And that's the 4th regional title that Quigley has won in his career. He's won a Virginia State title. He's won a couple titles overseas. He's done outstanding there. So this is a big bout for him. Again, probably the biggest he's had since in his career. Serrano will look to bounce back from his last bout. He had a loss to another Beltway boxer, Malik Hawkins, on March 30th in Philadelphia. Serrano was 24-5, 10 KOs. Now, Serrano lost a 10-round bout by unanimous decision in that contest for the WBA USA welterweight title. So he's getting a second straight opportunity for at least now 2 regional titles, total of 3 overall for Serrano. We'll see what he does there. So that's the main event. Jerome Quigley taking on Raymond Serrano for the USBA welterweight title and the WBC USNBC title. A number of Beltway boxers slated to appear on this card. No word yet on their opponents, but Clinton, Maryland super featherweight Kobe and Soldier Breedy, 11-0, 4 KOs. He just fought back on May 19th. He won a 6-round unanimous decision over Christopher Martin at the MGM National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland. Looked good in that bout, no question about that. Also on the card, Francisco the Cisco Kid Bustos of Rockville, Maryland. He's 6-0, 4 KOs. Also Greenbelt, Maryland cruiserweight Vanilla Gorilla Sam Crossett. He's 6-0, 4 KOs. Platinum Power, Leo Alcanera out of Fort Washington, Maryland. He's super middleweight at 2-0. Laurel, Maryland, lightweight Dante Cox. He's 1-0. Oxon Hill, Maryland, welterweight Rashad Code Blue Kilpatrick is on the card. He's 1-0, 1 KO. We have Gaithersburg, Maryland, welterweight Evgeny Mechanov. He's 0-2, looking for his first win. And also the debuting Marlon Bolin. He's a welterweight out of Clinton, Maryland, will be on the card as well. So that is Saturday, June 16th, from the Gardens Ice House in Laurel, Maryland. Once again, the Gardens Ice House is located at 13800 Old Gunpowder Road in Laurel, Maryland. Brand new location for us in the Beltway. So we look forward to that one as well. So that is, once again, Saturday, June 16th. Then on Friday, June 22nd, there'll be a big card at the Masonic Temple in Detroit, Michigan. And it's a big female boxing card where the main event is going to be Clarissa Shields going up against Hannah Gabriels. And that'll be for the WBA, the vacant WBA and IBF middleweight championships. Now, the co-feature on that card, and unfortunately for some reason, this bout won't get full coverage. There'll be a lot of highlights on this card from what I hear, because the card is televised by Showtime. There'll be some highlights of this bout, but they're not going to show the full bout, which I think is a shame. But on the co-feature of that card, Ashburn, Virginia's Tori Shownuff Nelson, she'll be in a 10-round contest against undefeated middleweight Christina Hammer of Dortmund, Germany, and that'll be for Hammer's WBC and WBO middleweight championships. Now, see, what they're trying to do here is trying to range, kind of like what they tried to do with Holmes and Joppy way back in the mid to late 90s when they had them both defend their titles at the Showplace Arena, and they're supposed to have a unification bout after they both won their bouts. They're trying to do the same thing here with Shields winning against Hammer, and they go on to unify the titles. But we'll see if Nelson can stop that gravy train a little bit. Nelson is 17-1-3, 2 KOs, a 12-time former world champion. She'll try to bounce back from her first loss, which was a 10-round unanimous decision to Clarissa Shields back on January 12th in Verona, New York. Hammer is 22-0, 10 KOs, coming off a 4th-round TKO over Gifty Ankara. That was on November 4th in Munich, Germany. This will be the 12th defense for Hammer of the WBO title and her first defense of the WBC championship. And Hammer is also the WBO Super Middleweight Championship. So that's a big one for Tori Nelson. I really thought after the Shields bout that Nelson would finish her career. I really did. I'm a little surprised she's taking this, but you can't pass up this opportunity. You really can't. You cannot pass up this opportunity. It's a big bout for her. I'm so glad to see Tori finally getting these big bouts, and hopefully she can pull off the upset here against Christina Hammer and win the WBC and WBO middleweight title. She once held the WBC middleweight title earlier in her career. So we'll see what happens there. Now, also on that card, by the way, will be Baltimore, Maryland super middleweight Franchon Cruz DeZern. And she'll be in a 6-round contest against an opponent to be determined. DeZern is 3-1, 1 KO, and she fought on that same card as Nelson on January 12th in Verona, New York. She won a 6-round unanimous decision over Tiffany Woodard. Now, this card is being promoted by Dimitri Salita Productions, of course, promotions, should say. Salita, of course, a former boxer. I believe he was a champion, I'm not sure. But he has a number of female boxers on the contract, including, I know she has Clarissa Shields, Christina Hammer, I believe she has Hannah Gabriels, and she has Franchon Cruz DeZern. He has Franchon Cruz DeZern. So a number of female boxers are on Salita's promotional list. So we'll see what happens. That's on Friday, June 22nd, it'll be on Showtime. The main event will be on Showtime. That's once again Clarissa Shields against Hannah Gabriels for the vacant IBF and WBA championships. They will show highlights from what I've been told of the Tori Nelson, Christina Hammer bout as well. Excuse me. Then on Friday, June 29th, at Shabazz Brothers Promotions, they'll bring a card to Martins West in Woodlawn, Maryland. We'll have live coverage of this one. And the main event on that one will be a good one. About that was scheduled to take place in May in Philadelphia, but the opponent for this one got hurt, but she is healthy now. And this one, everybody's saying should be a great bout. Tyra Shea, Lady Tiger Douglas out of Baltimore, Maryland. She'll take on Helen, the Iron Lady Joseph of New Haven, Connecticut by way of Nigeria in a 10-round contest, and this should be a barn burner. As we said, Douglas 13-1, 6 KOs. She last fought on November 4th, scored an 8th-round TKO over Crystal Hoy in Ashburn, Virginia. Meanwhile, Joseph is 15-3-1, 10 KOs. She scored 3 straight second-round knockouts in her last 3 contests. This one has a bout of the year potential. This one should be an absolute barn burner. No question about that. So that's on Friday, June 29th at Martins West in Woodlawn, Maryland. We will have live coverage of that card this coming up on Friday night. Other boxers scheduled to compete on the card. Baltimore featherweight Mac Poppy Allison IV. Columbia, Maryland, he's 7-1-1, 7 KOs. Columbia, Maryland super middleweight Ashton Dagoon Sykes is 1-1. As well as the Rockman family. Heavyweight Hasim Gold-Blooded Rockman Jr., 4-0, 3 KOs. Super middleweight Sharif C3 Rockman, who's 2-0, 2 KOs. And I believe he's his cousin, Mushin Kasan. He'll be a cruiserweight making his pro debut on this card. So this should be a great card here. Shabazz Brothers Promotions coming up on Friday, June 29th. That'll be at Martins West in Woodlawn, Maryland. Then on Saturday, June the 30th, there'll be a Putney Promotions card. And Putney Promotions card, they did one back at the Merrick Recreation Center back in November of last year. And that was the card at the Merrick Recreation Center. And that'll be the Sphinx Club in Washington, D.C. Now, unfortunately, because of the Wi-Fi situation over there, we won't be able to broadcast live from that particular event. But it should be an interesting one as well, as scheduled to appear in the main event, Oxon Hill, Maryland lightweight, the Dark Menace Tierra Brown. She'll be in the bout, and this will be her last bout as a free agent before she officially goes over and starts fighting under the DiBella Entertainment banner. Brown is, as we said, 4-0, 2 KOs. She'll take on Carla Torres of Cleveland, Ohio by way of Puerto Rico. And Brown last fought on November 18th at the Merrick Recreation Center. That was the last Putney Promotions card, and that was there along with the last bout we did recently, the Baxter Promotions, I think it's called. No, I'm sorry, TAC Promotions. TAC Promotions was with them on that one, but this is Putney Promotions by himself. And last time Brown fought was on November 18th at the Merrick Recreation Center in D.C. She won a 4-round unanimous decision over Natalie King. Now, Torres last fought in March of 2017, lost an 8-round unanimous decision to Sandy Seguris in Brampton, Canada. So, of course, we have updates on all those cards, all those bouts that are taking place in the month of June. Is a big month, no question about that. And again, a good portion of it in the Beltway, and we'll get to see a lot of it, and actually bring a couple of those bouts to you live right here on the Box on the Beltway Google app for Android, and of course on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio.com. That's why you should subscribe to those pages and download the Google app for free. Now, we were a little late on our Beltway Boxing news and notes this week, so I haven't had a chance to really, other than the post-fight wrap-up show that Juan Marsh and I did at the MGM National Harbor. But without going through the full card that took place that night, big thing I want to talk about. Now, unfortunately, I was unable to get an attendance figure for that Saturday, but needless to say, it was a big crowd, especially by the time we got to the main event. It was packed at the MGM National Harbor. So a lot of people had fears this bout wasn't selling well and tickets weren't going very well, but huge walk-up crowd. enthusiastic crowd. No question about that. The place was rocking during the main event. And it was a great, great night. It really was a great night for Beltway boxing overall. But a superb night for not only Gary Russell Jr., but also for JoJo Diaz. I think you're talking about two guys who put together a magnificent bout. No question about that. In Diaz, I think Diaz is like a year away, a little less than a year away from winning a bout like this. Happens a year later, Diaz wins it. He's a very talented boxer. He hit Russell with every body shot you could name. And he was incredible with that. But Russell made some huge adjustments in the midway point of the bout, and Diaz could not catch up. And again, a year from now, he learns how to catch up. I think the rest of the featherweight division really should be scared of JoJo Diaz. If he doesn't move up, he gets another title shot. I know we got coming up June 9th, Abner Mares takes on Leo Santa Cruz, with the winner supposed to take on Russell. That's the way it's supposed to go. And again, emphasize supposed to go. I think the loser of the bout should take on Diaz. That's my personal belief. Because right now, it looks like to me, Diaz is the best featherweight without a title in the division. He was solid. He really was. Dave Brazil, I thought, saw it about pretty close. I had it 116-112. Brazil had it 116-113. I thought 117-111, which is the score Dave Moretti and Nathan Palmer gave, was a little bit out there. But it was a great bout. It really was. And both guys were classy coming into the bout, to the press conferences and everything, and it was classy coming out. Both guys you listen to on the blog, listen to on the podcast, listen to some of the interviews, the press conferences that both Diaz and Russell gave. They were two classy gentlemen. Their fathers were classy. I mean, it was a great, great night for Beltway boxing. One of the best bouts we've had in a little bit of time. Russell said he was a little disappointed, but again, he hurt his hand. And again, he's had hand problems off and on for quite some time. A lot of people are aware of that. He's had hand problems. But it was a very, very good performance by both guys. It really was. A really solid performance. And I think Diaz will get his shot. He'll get another shot, and I think he'll make good on that shot. He's that good a boxer. And of course, Gary Russell, who knows? I mean, again, hopefully he'll take on the winner of Mares Santa Cruz. There's starting to be a little bit of rumble, and it actually started at the open workout, about Russell moving up in weight and taking on Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, I'm torn on that bout for a lot of reasons. Obviously, they're both Beltway boxers, both superb at what they do. It's a huge bout for this area. If it takes place, it has to take place in this area. It cannot take place anyplace else but the Beltway. It's a huge bout on that regard. And I don't want to speculate on it too much because I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Again, unless the winner of Mares Cruz does not face Russell. And of course, you have the new IBF champion, Joseph Warrington. You have the new WBO champion, Jaime Munguia. But you have a lot of people there. But Russell right now, without question, I don't think there's any question about it now, he's head and shoulders by everybody else in the featherweight division. But I just don't know if Russell Davis, I think it makes sense, depending on what title. I guess they'll go for Davis's title. It makes sense because of that. You got two of the most talented boxers in boxing right now. But I'm so torn. I couldn't pick a winner. A lot of things going on both ways, and hopefully one day I won't have to analyze it anytime soon. But if I do, there are a lot of things to analyze. We'll have a lot of fun doing it. But that's the big thing right now. So we'll see what's going on. But again, looks like June 9th is going to be a big day. It'll be on Showtime. Abner Mares against Leo Santa Cruz. And the winner of that bout is supposed to battle Gary Russell Jr. We'll see what happens. Great night for the Russell family, of course, with Antonio and Antoine both winning their bouts by knockout. Again, Kobe Abriti fought very, very well on that card. 6-round unanimous decision. He fought extremely well. Brandon Quarles dropped down the middleweight. He scored an impressive 5th-round TKO that bout. Also, Emmanuel Alim won by 6th-round TKO. His opponent could not come out for the 7th round. So, yeah, another bout as well. The Ruben Simmons out of Lynchburg. That was an ugly bout. He won his bout at the end of the 1st round over Aaron Davis. So, again, a really great card for this area. Again, a packed house, a big house on hand for it. Good night for Beltway boxing. No question about that in the state of Maryland. And we have more coming because, again, the big bouts we have coming up, big cards we have coming up in the Beltway in June should put us back where we belong. We've had a really dormant time over the first few months of the year. Just 2 bouts so far. Attack Motions card up in Sterling. And, of course, this card here at the MGM National Harbor. That's all we've had so far. That'll change in June. So look forward to it, and we will guide you all the way through the month of June and beyond on our blogs, boxingonthebeltway.blogspot.com, and, of course, Juan Marshall's blog, proamfighttalk.blogspot.com, and, of course, right here on the Boxing on the Beltway Google app for Android. So make sure you subscribe to that app, download that app, and also subscribe if you're iOS listeners, subscribe to the iOS pages on Spreaker.com and iHeartRadio.com. Beltway Boxing News and Notes, once again, brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief, you get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. And by Deborah Spears. Get 20% off your first purchase on Deborah, Debra Spears.com. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Thanks for joining me, everybody. And always remember to keep supporting the best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening. Take care.